to Chatting Shit with Ostique, the podcast series where we chat about shit with inspirational people from all walks of life. Today, we are joined by two inspiring guests, Stephen Fisher and Tom Kaye. We hope you enjoy this conversation. So Stephen and Tom, welcome to Chatting Shit with Ostique. Thank you for being here.
Hi, all right, thank you.
Hi, okay, thank you.
So today's topic is all about contact sports with a stoma. And as you both play rugby for Team Colostomy UK, we are really excited to have you join us to talk about this. And I'm just really looking forward to kind of going through this conversation with you. Before we talk all things contact sports, I wonder if you'd both be able to just talk about a little bit about your journey with however you ended up having a stoma and kind of take us up to that point of stoma surgery, if you wouldn't mind. Tom, can we maybe begin with you?
Yeah, not a problem. So basically mine started around about the age of 8 to 9. Supposedly, according to my mum, I had toddler diarrhea, but my mum's grasp on truth and facts isn't always straight down the middle. But I know it definitely started when I was 8 or 9, which I just remember being really poorly, very little control of my bladder, also vomiting quite a lot, could barely keep anything down. Went to the doctors, which very quickly moved me on to the hospital. Had an endoscopy, which I think the results came back pretty quickly. I had ulcerative colitis, which initially I took a lot of steroids for a 12-month period, which did 2 times a rock all, if I'm being honest. Which Savendi proceeded to say I need to have a bag on temporarily because of my age. They couldn't, or how they saw the operations and medical things back when I was that age. They said I had to have my bowel reconstructed in 3 parts. So initially it was the colostomy bag. Then it was be a pouch that was made, which would be the second surgery. Then the third would be to reconnect the bag of a pouch to my rectum. So I had that for a 4 or 5 year period. Then when I was 16, I had it removed again. Long story short, no end of problems after that. Infections, blockages, and the Dr. Hamlin pretty much said to me when I was fighting it for donkeys, when I was 24, stop, in professional terms, stop fighting it, you need another bag on. He said it was because of the steroids, why I was struggled, because of a growth spurt I had and things like that. So I had it back then, and that's the second bag, and the rest is history.
Thank you. Stephen, would you mind giving us a little intro to you as well?
Yes, I will do, that's not a problem. So mine started when I was about 27, 2016 or something like that. Similar to Tom, really, it was just rushing to the toilet, not really knowing what it was, who to help me. So I got referred to have, I think I had a camera and a scan, maybe. And they basically told me I had ulcerative colitis, didn't have a clue what it was. My cousin had it, she's a bit older, and she had similar problems to me in hospital, which I'll come up to. But she didn't have to have the operation. And she kind of was warning me how serious it was, but I didn't take it serious. I was probably too young, even though I was 27, to actually take it serious, and I just carried on with my day-to-day life of eating and drinking what you shouldn't do, basically. So pretty quickly I got ill. So in 2018, I just kind of went from 0 to 100. My mum died in June 2018, and everyone has told me since that the stress of that I built me up to just basically just go too far. So in July, I got took into hospital. They tried the infliximab, but basically it didn't work. It reacted with me. I had just basically blood everywhere in the hospital. And then I had to have an emergency bag. And then it took 3 operations to get it right. I had to move it from different sides of my body. It kept going in on itself. It didn't work. I was ill. I was kept having temperatures. Just couldn't regulate my body temperature, to be honest. And then, so I was in a hospital a total of 7 weeks. The 3rd operation that I had is the one that I kind of the existing site. It was just miraculous. It was just kind of like after that it went, and it was, I won't say fixed obviously, but it was just kind of worked from then. And I was out of hospital a week after I had that operation. So yeah, it was kind of a big long build up until they got it right, and then after a week I was up and out. As you can imagine, 7 weeks in hospital, you just want to get out.
God, yeah.
I've got 2 young kids, and I just, every day I just looked at the picture and was like, tears in my eyes, thinking I need to get out for these. So that was pretty much my journey to having a bag.
Thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned that. So the 7-week period you were in hospital, the majority of that was prior to having the stoma surgery, and then you had the stoma surgery.
I had 2 stoma surgeries, but neither of them worked. So it was like 3 weeks in hospital trying to get me fixed. And then the next 2 or 3 weeks was 2 different stoma surgeries. One on the right side of my body, and effectively, I don't know what the technical term is, but it went in on itself. So the poo was kind of going back into my body. And then they tried to fix it when they should have moved it, but it didn't work. So exactly the same thing happened. So it was kind of another couple of weeks wasted, and then they moved it, and then it was working fine after that.
Thank God. And that, you mentioned, that changed everything for you. Symptoms pretty much gone, and you could just kind of live a relatively normal life after that?
Yeah, so there was no more rushing to the toilet. I did, I was obviously a lot ill. I lost 5.5, 6 stone. I'm quite a big lad, and I just went down to skin and bone, and it just, and then it was just a build up from then.
And Tom, after your final surgery, when you had that kind of from a permanent perspective, did you find that made a huge change to your quality of life as well?
Yeah, when doing the right things, really. Because a lot of the first bag had bad experiences where it wouldn't stay on. Obviously, that affects different things like mental health and things like that. But I found when I had the more permanent, the bags were better quality. Looked after myself better, and also there's a lot more advice. I think people know a lot more. Obviously, colostomy bags go back however far, but I think you can, however far you want to go back in history. But the quality of what you can get nowadays is so much better. But I think is also an aspect of self-care, what affects what you can do in regards to exercise. So yeah, I think I said it too when we had the chat last week. For me now, I'm in best shape of my life through good advice and other things I'm doing.
Absolutely love that. That brings me on towards the subject of contact sports. But before we get there, in terms of being active, you've just mentioned how important that has been for kind of your health to continue to thrive. Were you active before your stoma surgery, either of you or both of you?
I'll let Steve answer first. He can go first for that.
So I used to play rugby. I started rugby when I was about 13, 14. I was playing football before that, but I started rugby just because I was kind of big and fast, and everyone was telling me to. And
makes sense.
And I kind of, from the age of 14 to like 21, kind of was doing really well and played at a decent level without fully properly getting paid. I went to Australia with Great Britain, under 18s, various Lancashire, etc. But and I played football. My love is football, so but I'm better at rugby, if you know what I mean. So at the age of about 23, I stopped playing rugby. I just kept kind of hurting me back and everything. I just thought, I don't want to play this anymore. And then obviously we'll come on to it later, but kind of after the stoma, you have a bit different perspective in life, and you just think, I want to get active again. I want to meet new people and go back into playing rugby. So yes, before and obviously now after.
How
about you, Tom? Were you active before?
Yes, I come from a family of two older brothers. Well, I've got two older brothers where we've all played competitive rugby. So yeah, very short answer to that. Yeah, we used to always competing, always competitive. Put my hand to everything. I played rugby at a decent standard. I always played a year below. I played with my brother, who helps us with Team Colostomy through Batley. I've always played contact sport. Always been a horribly competitive person.
I'm sure that's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
Pushes into be bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you both had experience of being active and specifically with rugby and contact sports prior to the surgery. After having surgery, did it change anything for you? You've mentioned from a mindset perspective, it made you rethink wanting to get out there and be active. But was there any element of, I suppose, fear or anxiety or trepidation about what playing a contact sport might be like with a stoma?
Not for me, personally. I didn't get straight back into rugby. I initially built myself, because like Steve mentioned, you lose an awful lot of weight. So I tried building myself back up initially through CrossFit, which I did. Then I got into football, because I used to play football as a kid as well as rugby. Then my love of rugby sort of pretty much wasn't there, because I wasn't playing with my brother anymore. I always liked it, but never felt the need to play again. Then my partner at the time emailed Giovanni at Team Colostomy, because they were playing at Featherstone, and then I went down and played, and I think Gio will probably tell you stories about me. I was awfully competitive, and I pretty much fit straight in, pointing, shouting, demanding results and things like that. And then I instantly fell in love with it again, which then got me into Team Colostomy and Leeds Rhinos again.
Stephen, how about you?
So I think within 6 months of my last operation, I was back doing competitive sport, contact sport, and I arranged a charity football game, because, like I said, my love is football. So I arranged a charity football game for Crohn's and colitis. One of my good friends has got colitis, and unbelievably, we didn't know each other had it. And he visited me in hospital like at least once a week, and we didn't know each other had it until actually I was in hospital. So I wanted to do kind of it for that charity to like raise awareness before it got to my stage, if you know what I mean. And then while I was actually organising that charity football day, I just randomly see on Twitter someone retweet something that Giovanni put, and then straight away was just like, oh my God, rugby. So I then kind of did it for Crohn's and colitis / Colostomy UK, and raised about £1,500, something like that for a day. So that was probably in the summer 2019, and then I paid my first game for Colostomy UK in, I think, like September, October. I remember it being a very, very cold, wet day in London.
What's new?
So yeah, within a year of my operations, I was back playing for colostomy and rugby again.
It was at Aldershot, I remember. It was absolutely horrible.
You were there for his debut.
Yeah. I went down to Aldershot. He turned up, and I can confirm he's a big lad and he's quick. I'll confirm that fact.
I remember just getting the ball first time and like scoring. I was thinking, oh my God, like the feeling my wife and obviously my kids have never seen me play because I stopped playing when I was like 23. And it was just, it's amazing to get back to doing what I used to do and everything, yeah.
Oh, that's so special. Was there, this may be a really silly question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I know people are going to want to know. Does it feel any different? Is there any difference playing rugby with a stoma versus not?
For me, the first time I played an older shot, I remember being a bit nervous just because I didn't know what would happen. And I was fine after 30 seconds. So no is the answer, apart from obviously the preparation. I take a shield and I wear it around my stoma, and I wear a support belt as well, which obviously people always wear. I wear a support vest. So that is the only difference. Our last game, September last year, was probably the first time I got tackled in my stoma. And it's one of them where you go, and it took the wind out of me because I tackled wood.
Yes.
And you're on the floor, and I think a few people were like nervous as to what was going on. And it was just because I was winded, and I got up and I was absolutely fine. And I was literally getting tackled with a shoulder directly into my stoma, and it was absolutely fine. So yeah.
Charlie games, they're the best.
Yeah.
There's no messing about
the first
there.
game, then the first 30 seconds, absolutely no difference, and I don't even think about it.
That's amazing. How about you, Tom? Is it the same for you?
No, because I think rugby's a sport where you protect yourself without knowing. Your body naturally tenses up. Your body's protecting itself because you can pretty much foresee the collision. But yeah, I was similar initially when I first had it. When I first started playing again, I wore a guard plus a support hernia pants and vest. I now do not wear a belt. I play without a guard. Through because I'm confident in my sort of fitness and my body shape now, and also I feel like I've got enough protection from how I play. I'm not necessarily. I describe myself as like an old-fashioned loose, so I'll run it in. But I also like to let the ball do the work. I'm getting a bit old now to set too many contacts. So yeah, I like to play the game a little bit with my mind as well.
That sounds very sensible and like my kind of rugby.
I think I said to Gio today, you can't put square pegs in circle holes. Some jobs I'm not meant to do.
So aside from the physical benefits of being healthy, what are some of the other benefits of being part of Team Colostomy UK? Has there been any mental health and well-being benefits? I would imagine that there would be.
So do you want to answer it first, Steve, or me?
I can answer it, not a problem. So I think there is, without realising, probably just being in a group chat and just talking to people, and I don't tend to open up a lot and ask loads of questions or anything like that, but I listen and read, and people having certain problems, like certain foods that you can eat and not eat. I don't eat stuff that they've told me never to eat again, but I know people do, so it's just interesting to listen, and like I started reducing like onions into my diet, and peppers and things like that. So not necessarily mental health, but it definitely helps being part of a team and with other people who are going through the same or have been through the same, and some of them have the reversals. There's a surgeon in there, just things like that, and just being able to chat about it openly. It just makes you feel confident about telling the world and not being worried about it and self-conscious.
No.
How about you, Tom?
Yes, I believe it makes a positive difference on more than what we can say really, because the impact sport as it naturally produces all the endorphins. We play I'm not too. I think Steve plays a little bit of rugby still for outside of Team Colostomy. I play rugby outside of Team Colostomy for the Leeds Foundation. So it's got me into things which it's the ripple effect it has on you. So you get into more sports, your confidence, and also some people, this is the only form of exercise they feel confident enough to do, because they're not quite prepared to go be idiots like me and Steve and go play proper rugby in some instances. So it naturally gets the confidence up. So I think, especially with mental health, small things make huge differences. Our group is quite funny. There's some funny things that get said. Some all sorts of, especially towards certain people in the group. So it's just a safe environment where people can talk, and like Steve says, people do talk and ask for advice in there. I imagine some people talk. I've spoken to some people privately outside of the group. So there's lots of things where the benefit comes from, because I think that's it. Part of feeling safe within a group, because you can't talk to everybody, but there's always that one person you can talk to.
Yeah, I've spoken to a lot of people who have had stoma surgery on this podcast, on lives, through our social media, in many forms, and the consistent thing that seems to come through from everybody who either who have been able to have this or have wanted this is to have somebody of a similar age, ideally the same gender, who has been through it before, to talk to about it. That's what almost everyone that I have spoken to has said would have been the best thing that would have helped them through, or was indeed the thing that brought them through. And it sounds like being a part of either Team Colostomy UK or any group sporting situation means that you suddenly have peers who are probably like-minded, because you've picked the same sport, you're into a similar thing, so you're able to talk to them and share experiences, and it would help you through. Did you have that when you went through your surgery, or is that something that you've only discovered later since you've become part of this and other initiatives?
So after the few failed attempts of trying to not go to surgery, I was told I needed surgery, and that was the first time I knew what even a stoma was. Well, she didn't explain it. She just said, you'll need surgery, and then after you kind of Google and everything. So, no, I don't think there's enough awareness, and the doctors have enough knowledge, GPs, etc., of the disease of Crohn's colitis and what can happen. And so I don't know. No, the answer is no. I didn't, before my surgery, I didn't have a clue what a colostomy was, what an ostomy was, what stoma was, surgery, or anything like that. And it was just kind of like, this has got to be done just to help you. And about a month after coming out of hospital, I was thinking, and there should be someone who comes around in the hospitals to talk to you. And I wanted to do it, but as you get back to normal life, and I didn't in the end. But I think it would benefit a lot just to speak to someone. And I know a few people who's got Crohn's and colitis, and I now tell them, having a colostomy, having a stoma, ileostomy, whatever it is, it's going to improve your life. It's not going to be a detriment to you at all. So I'd love to be able to help someone who's going through it, kind of similar experiences to me. And like Tom was saying, he was fighting against it, which is fine. But I think if you know someone who's had it and had it in similar age, etc., doing similar things, it can help, can't it? Just speaking to somebody, just to say it's okay, and look what I'm doing now. So yeah.
For me, not to cover too much what Steve said, there's a couple of things where I think could be done better in regards to advice, because stomas are all about confidence and belief in yourself. I remember when someone came to speak to me, a stoma nurse, and she pushed a certain product on me. It didn't work. It didn't work for me, and for me going to see an actual stoma nurse in St James's, she offered me different products that give me the confidence to go out and try, because I think you'll never know. It's the thing that got me into Team Colostomy was my first bag experience was terrible, and that's why I put it off so long and fought against it, and I probably lost a couple of years of some quality of life. My worst experience, I won't cover them all, was I remember pulling off my bag and sitting in the shower for about an hour, and like just thinking, what am I going on here? Like 15, like thinking about what's going on, what's going on with me, blah blah blah, hating myself. And the reason why these WhatsApp groups are really helpful, and sort of what we do in regards to pushing your limits and knowing what your body can do, is why I'm involved with it, because I would hate to think someone's been like me when I was 15, 14. Because one, you don't seek advice, two, the advice isn't there, and three, no one's trying to build you up to be in a position where you don't have to be playing regular rugby, but an aspect of exercise or surrounding yourself with a community or something like that of similar peers, like you say.
Yeah, I think, firstly, thank you both for being really open and honest about that. I know you've both said you want to help other people, and I know that just talking about it does, especially being men, because I have looked a lot on social media to see who's out there and who's kind of trying to kind of raise awareness of this, and it is predominantly women or people that identify as women, and I think there's a real need for more men to come forward and talk about their experiences to make people feel less alone, but also to raise awareness of initiatives like this, because whilst social media is amazing, being able to have face-to-face time with real humans and speak to them and have a relationship with them in person is obviously far better where possible. So hopefully the more that people hear about things like Team Colostomy UK, the more they can go out and search for them and get involved themselves, which I think is amazing.
I think it's not just a sport. It's about, obviously you've said it. It's women, men, older people, younger people, middle of age like us, Steve. It doesn't just provide the colostomy side, provides yoga, swimming, so it covers everything. Because rugby contact sport isn't for everybody. Some people are a bit more clever and have a bit more now, so I think I'm staying away from that. I'm not that daft. So it's stuff like yoga. What they think, like I said, they might have done yoga before colostomy surgery. They think I can't do that again. But through advice and support that's available through the charity, the information's there to be used. You just got to go find it.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, when you did have your stoma surgery, where did you go for advice or help or information? I know, Stephen, you mentioned a Google search, but was it the charities, or did you find some other way of getting some information?
For me, I think it was just online, yeah. I just literally, you can ask, I seen the colitis IBD nurse in Warrington's first time ever seen her, and I had IBD for 2 or 3 years. It was crazy. I didn't even know about her. And then, yeah, there was nothing anyone I spoke to. I didn't realise there was people out there like me. Obviously there was, but yeah, until I kind of got in touch with Giovanni in a year, well, about 8 or 9 months after. So yeah, it was just my surgeon. I had a mucus fistula, and he didn't even tell the nurses that I had one. So I had a kind of 2 openings, one with just mucus coming out, and they was trying to pack it and like it was a wound to heal, and it just wasn't. So just things like that, like it was just all new, and we're just like Googling it. I'm like, what the hell's this? And just no one sits there and explains it to you. That's the craziest thing about it.
It's madness. Tom, what about you?
I know from experiences since it's not just, it wasn't a one-off with me. It's he might get better now. We're talking 5 years on for me, but yeah, there's not enough awareness, and that's what we need to do to keep talking about it.
Absolutely. Tom, did you find any pearls of wisdom anywhere that you'd like to share?
No, I didn't come across Team Colostomy. Ex-partner did, which I'm grateful for. I feel so much better for what I do, involved with a charity and other bits. But no, I went and I like to go try find things out. So I very much self-explored. I got into the exercise when I felt I was ready for it. But ultimately, I think there's advice out there. You've just got to go find it, and don't accept just one source of advice. You've got these other bits of information. I think when we had a chat earlier on, there's quite a lot of negative advice out there, but which it's fair enough, those experiences happen. But if we're all the same, it'd be a very boring world. So I think ultimately you've got to try something before you actually put it off, or don't say I'll never try that ever again.
And I hope you don't mind me touching upon this, and if you do, just let me know and we'll move on. But Tom, you have mentioned struggling with your mental health and feelings about yourself when you first had your stoma.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you, if you don't mind sharing, and how were you able to overcome it?
I didn't overcome it, if I'm being honest. I used to count down the days until I was old enough to get the bag, or when they was having it. Pretty much had that feeling the entirety of the bag in that time, because there wasn't the actual flow of information you get nowadays, or the access to it. You didn't have a phone which had Twitter and Facebook available to it. And the second part was I didn't speak out, which I ultimately regret, because I very much went in my shell for what should have been some of the best years of my life, with my mates. Didn't tell enough people. So that's what I'm trying to stop, over someone being a Tom Kaye 2.0. So yeah, I didn't, if I'm being honest. I still struggle nowadays, but I have my good days and I talk to people who I need to talk to.
I think the talking side is probably the most important thing that I guess you could ever share with anybody.
Yeah.
That keeping stuff inside is not the answer.
Yeah, it's pretty much cost me a couple of relationships, but ultimately, I think I've got to the point now where there's a line in the sand. I've invested in myself, which is through exercise. I am really happy when I'm doing something or being competitive, and so no, a bit of self investment, and I'm ultimately in a lot better place nowadays, if I'm being honest.
Good. I'm really pleased to hear that. Thank you for being so open. Stephen, do you have any hints and tips for those wishing to take up contact sports again with a stoma? Is there any bits of advice before they head on in?
Oof. I would say be careful. I don't just want to say just jump in, because that's what I did, and I know not everyone can just do that. I would just say, do the protection that you need, a shield, stoma support belt, vest, whatever you use. I think I had to wait 6 months after my operation to get that. So obviously, don't rush in before the 6 months, and then just basically take your time. And I played rugby before, so it's easy to just say, yeah, let's go and play rugby, because not everyone can do that. But I just think maybe start off with what you used to do, like Tom mentioned, yoga, anything, swimming. Just get back. Like even swimming, people think I can't swim with a bag. Of course you can. It's just literally anything that, even if you've never done anything before, just try something, but just be careful, and then you'll realise quickly that you don't need to be careful at the same time, if you know what I mean. And just have confidence in yourself, and literally you can do anything with the stoma bag. Don't hold back.
Tom, do you have anything to add?
No, not really. Not a lot on what is said. There's ultimately something out there for you. Between us two, we've played lots of sports and at different levels and different physicalities. But there's even like older end. There's like masters. There's walking football. So the older generation is that masters football's available where you can walk and there's no contact, but you'll see. I imagine when you've not done something for a while, that's a safe space, no contact, but it's an aspect of exercise. So it's understanding what you can do. So there's something out there definitely to the exercise level you want, or also to the mobility levels. But I very much agree. The point I'd emphasise is the preparation. You need to be physically fit, physically strong, the gym aspect and things like that. Especially with the physical side, the body must be prepared, because as much as when we spoke earlier about rugby, you naturally protect yourself. Also, we're not going to go play Super League level and get 2 bells knocked out of us, because we know full well we're not prepared for that.
Yeah, I think that's some very good advice. Know your limitations, but have the confidence to try. So that's good.
Yeah.
Both of you, I'd love to ask this one too, but what would you say to anyone who has stoma surgery coming up? What do you perhaps wish you had known before your surgery, given that there wasn't that much information available? If you had sort of 2 or 3 things that you wish someone had told you, what would those things be?
Go on, Tom.
Go on then. I'll take it first.
It's a toughie.
You will have dark days. They are inevitable. No getting away from them. But there's also plenty of good days, which ultimately will outweigh. Don't accept bad advice, because it's bad advice for a reason. And just go explore. It's not the end of the world. If rugby's not your thing, something else is. Walking, it doesn't stop you. It doesn't. These are your best years of your life. Don't waste them through a mindset thinking you need to be near a toilet or whatever it may be. But yeah, just go explore. Ignore the dark days, because you will have them, but they do end.
I love that. Thank you. Stephen, do you have anything to add?
The only thing I would say is don't be scared of it. Ultimately, you're having it to prolong your life, to fix you, whatever is wrong with you, whether it's Crohn's or colitis, whether it's a cancer of some sort. It'll improve your quality of life massively, and I mean massively. Having a stoma, you're not rushing to the toilet. You're just not. Obviously, in the first few months, you've got to get used to having a bag. Your skin's got to get used to it. So there will be leaks, and I remember them first 3 or 4 months having really, really bad days, thinking this is my life now, just rushing to the toilet, having leaks, having effectively poo all over you, and it's just your body getting used to it. But once it's used to it, which is only a couple of months, the quality of life is just, for me, amazing. I know I can only talk for myself, but I put my quality of life back to the day before I found out I had Crohn's and colitis. Obviously, Crohn's and colitis just built up, but you still have to worry about things now. I don't have to worry about anything about that. Just I go to the toilet a different way. So yeah. I suppose it's just accept it, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you. Both of you, thank you so much for taking the time and being here. And we are absolutely thrilled to be sponsoring you this season. First game, Giovanni will kill us if we don't mention this. First game is Saturday the 5th of March.
Saturday the 5th of March, yeah. We have another game to be confirmed in Yorkshire. We've got another one at the wrong end of the country, which is in Lancashire. To be
my end.
Yeah, so the dodgy part to be confirmed. That's pretty much nailed on. And Yeah, we're playing in a couple of new locations as well this year, pushing the boundary out. So yes, we've got some really good platforms to come up, which will push us up to a bigger audience again.
Fab. Well, we will be there. We will be streaming some of your games live on Ostique's Instagram as well, so that they can reach some more people. And yeah, we will make sure that everyone's kept informed when there is a game, and hopefully we'll be interviewing you on the days as well. So looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
In the interim,
Thank you.
Thank you. Speak soon.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Have you seen the new Ostique skins yet? Ostique skins are revolutionary ostomy pouch covers that were created to make the wearer feel confident, sexy and powerful in all of life's moments. From moments of intimacy to lounging by the pool, conquering a workout or simply heading out to lunch, skins have you covered. Even better, they're compatible with all major colostomy and ileostomy bags. Ostique skins are available in a range of colours and skin tones, and they're made from a revolutionary material that's completely waterproof, high quality, soft and comfortable. Skins are easy to use, even with reduced dexterity, and they work with both closed and drainable bags. Plus, skins are also environmentally friendly and vegan. There are 4 bundles available to buy now, and you can also purchase individual skins. Head to ostique.co.uk to find out more.